If you still don't believe that there are really, really powerful forces literally trying to rewrite history and hide as much truth as possible from you, then just look at this, man. Until yesterday, if you were to Google assassination attempt on just those three words, this is what would come up, right? This was not by accident. This was not some mistake or some oversight. This was on purpose. And Google never thought they'd get caught, right? They thought no one would ever notice. And they fixed it, right? They fixed it because they got caught, and they offered a very, very lazy explanation. They said that they have fail-safes in place to protect you from instances of political violence, right? And great. And that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. But the problem is, it's not just political violence. And not only were all those other examples of political violence as well, but this is not just political violence. This is a dominating political news story. This is a world-altering event that people still don't have the answers that they deserve on. And I'll tell you exactly what this is about in a moment. But first, Elon Musk, he's come out about it, right? And guys, I mean, looking back at how important is it at this moment that one of the biggest tech platforms is controlled by someone who is not a left-wing puppet?
Like, there's currently a massive amount of hidden censorship that is done by Google, and frankly, also by Facebook and Instagram, and so, and people have no idea about this. And by the way, the Google censorship might be the most pernicious because it's very easy for them to just nudge a link onto the second page, and there's that old joke of what's the best place to, hide a dead body? Well, it's the second page of Google search results because nobody ever looks there. So that's pretty important to say, hey, did Google nudge a search result to the second page? Because that'll drop how many people see it by a factor of 10 or more, maybe 100. So there's a whole bunch of that happening that's very subtle, and so you can't. It's much harder to detect than say an account suspension.
Obviously, he's right? But I will disagree with him on one point. This is not subtle. This is, I believe, as blatant as it gets. The media, they've moved on, claiming that, basically it's just old news, even though we still know nothing. It still is news. It's still making news. We still haven't learned really anything about the shooter. We still haven't learned anything, even with all these hearings about true security failures. There's not been one press conference by the FBI or the Secret Service. And honestly, in every single way, this is still a developing story that the entire world is paying attention to. And it's buried. It is buried by the media. And I think, honestly, I think it has everything to do with this one picture right here. It's all about Evan Vucci's literally history-defining photograph. And that's a Pulitzer photograph right there. I don't know what his chances are because it's Trump and it's that moment and they don't want to highlight that moment, but that photograph is historic, right? And this is what they do not want anyone to see. In one moment, almost every single thing that liberals have ever said about Donald Trump is destroyed. In one moment, in one photograph, just obliterated. And they know it. You know it. The world knows it. So they have to hide it, right? And if you think I'm crazy, man, look what happens when you try to post that picture to Facebook lately. It says, independent fact checkers reviewed a similar photo and said it was altered in a way that could mislead people. It doesn't get any more real, any more raw, any more unaltered. And guys, I'm telling you, man, I promise you, we are living smack dab in the middle of 1984. The Ministry of Truth has spoken, man. And what a lot of people don't know, the Ministry of Truth, they've been hard at work since the moment that Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. The powerful people at Google and other giant tech monstrosities, they felt responsible for Hillary's loss because they allowed people to find actual information about her. And their view was that, no one would have disliked Hillary Clinton if they couldn't find actual real information about her. They only disliked her because they learned who she was. And I'm telling you, man, that is where it started. And that is how these people think, man. I mean, you'd think that if they were wired properly, they would just support candidates that are actually good, actually likable, actually functional. But that's not what they do, man. They literally take whatever deficient evil troll they can find and they hide as much of their evil trollness as they possibly can. And these are the results. I mean, this is what happens. You wind up a little over 2 weeks after a bullet takes a chunk off Donald Trump's ear. and it's basically scrubbed from the internet, scrubbed from the world, scrubbed from the record. And honestly, I get freaking chills even thinking about this stuff, but because it is just so crazy. And it's made even more crazy by how normal these occurrences have begun. But here's the amazing thing, man. Even with all of this help, even with every single thing on their side, the Democrats and the Kamala Harris campaign, they still don't have a plan for messaging, right? They can't talk about policy. They can't talk about results. They got nothing to talk about. So basically, I mean, just a few days after they've started, this is what they've settled on. This is the message of the Harris campaign.
99 days now until the election, and the Harris campaign this morning seems to have fully embraced weird as a line of attack against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
It's the weirdest thing. He'll go and like literally hug an American flag. Now, I love the flag, but I mean, it's like weird what he does.
So that's what they've got, man. Hugging the American flag is apparently weird. It's ridiculous, but just for reference, here's a quick reset as to what these people actually think is normal.
Mr. President, this is my 221st day of publicly transitioning.
God love it.
Yeah, so that's not weird. And if you do happen to think that's weird, then you're just a bigot. You're a crazy right-wing cult member, like the fake right-wing cult members that allegedly tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer.
You know, I think that my colleagues are pointing out the obvious, that the agenda, the way they talk to people, the way they address people, it is bizarre. It's weird. It is weird. I also don't want to diminish the fact, though, that it also presents a very real risk for us as a country. And weird is kind of a funny phrase to use because it's bizarre, but at the same moment, we've got to say this is a serious moment in this country.
So I think we're being really kind and gracious by just calling you weird. And frankly, J.D. Vance, just dumb Vance, is pretty weird.
Yeah, so Gretchen Whitmer and the way that she talks is normal, but the way Trump talks is bizarre. And according to The View, JD stands for just dumb, which, of course, I mean, that's juvenile as it gets. Very, very clever, very enlightened and educated, right? Very liberal. But just so we're keeping track, this, on The View, this is an exhibition of normal on The View.
Hello, my name is Cal Wilderness. Hello.
She's just joy.
I'm the Greek goddess from Miami, Athena Dion.
I'm the illusion that causes much confusion, Miss T. Lo Ivy.
And again, if you happen to think that's not normal, again, you're just a bigot, cult member, crazy right-winger. This is what these people have settled on, right? They think that a winning campaign strategy is to just say that the guy with the good economy, the guy with the secure border, the guy literally dodging bullets, yeah, don't look at him. He's just weird. And honestly, I don't think that can possibly work. There's too much video evidence of what is actually weird for that to work.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice.
In every way. And how did you talk about Senator Warren? Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chop. Hi. We talk on it.
Welcome today, everyone, to the White House. I'd like to briefly answer some questions. Go ahead, I'm ready.
JVN.
Oh, yes.
Is it true that is all your natural hair?
Yes, I can confirm that this is not a wig.
Follow-up question, do you use your own products?
I do use JVN hair, actually exclusively for over 4 years.
Phenomenon. You know it.
Indeed, I do. Phenomenon.
1 sec. Democracy's calling. See you, Daddy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and this is a day in my life as a White House intern.
We did it, Joe. Hey, everyone. Vogue.
Usually I start off with a big coffee. Sorry, they're like really strict in here.
Hey Jenny, I booked you a nail appointment, love.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's called Initiative.
Hi, White House, this is Cooper. I don't think so. Oh, doesn't matter.
This is actually the entrance to the West Wing. This is so fun and it's really prestigious.
I mean, honestly, man, whoever is the campaign strategist that came up with this, you got to go back to working for Grubhub, man. Of all the wacky gaslighting, of all the crazy things that they're going to try and trick you with over the next couple months, this one has no chance. I mean, can you imagine being a governor like Whitmer or Shapiro and you get these marching orders, these talking points from a campaign or the DNC or wherever they're coming from, and you just got to go out and you got to call them weird. You got to ignore policy, ignore actual results, ignore it all. They're just weird. Just go talk about sofa sex and lonely cat ladies and just make sure that people know just how weird these two guys are. There's no way that works. It has to backfire. I mean, the whole entire insanity is going to backfire.
Trump ally Ben Carson is slamming Vice President Kamala Harris and warning that some may be trying to deify her. Listen.
This is going to be a great test of the power of the media to take someone who formerly was universally disliked and transform them into a godlike figure. And they will use everything that they have to try to do that. I know the media is going to do everything to make her seem like Martin Luther King in a different body, but I think people maybe are not going to be as easy to manipulate as that.
She has been so built up by the media right now. I've got to believe next week we're going to see this little bit of, well, are we sure? Is she as godlike? Is she as special as we're all saying?
No, because I mean, is it the media or is it that Democratic base voters are responding to her?
Has a point. And my friends in the media and my friends who are in the Democratic Party need to grapple with this point, and I know that they won't, or I fear that they won't, which is that there's a whole swath of America out there who feels like they have been systematically gaslit about Joe Biden and his age. Yep. There have been segments. There have been people who work in this building who have written browbeating things about the New York Times, even polling on the issue of whether Biden is too old. Like, that's pretty controversial, New York Times. I'm not sure you should do that. It's in March of this year that between Robert Hur coming out and people such as Kamala Harris saying that Robert Hur's thing was clearly politically motivated, she said, and obviously inaccurate. She said that in February. So to come off after all of this, and then suddenly a bad debate, everything gets scrambled up, and then Kamala comes, and we see 1 week of flowing and gushing, yes, reflection of the euphoria that is real, that people are experiencing. And I actually am happy that people are experiencing euphoria. However, that feeling that the other people are experiencing is also real, which is that stop gaslighting us right now. And if you keep doing it, I've gotten emails from, and I'm not a pro-Trump person at all, from people who saying, if people keep doing this, I'm thinking about rage voting for Trump. That is a terrible outcome.
It really is amazing to watch, man. And the last guy, he's probably right. I mean, there's a real danger of a rage vote because people do not like to be lied to, man. They don't like to be used. They don't like to be tricked. And that's what's happening. And the truth is simple, man. Just a few weeks ago, I mean, literally just weeks ago, no one wanted to even mention Kamala's name. They were all just scheming and scamming and trying to find a way to get rid of her. And now she's a second coming. She's smart and she's normal. And just dumb Vance, he's the weird guy. And big surprise, if you're researching anything, trying to find out real information, you're going to find out there was an assassination attempt on Harry Truman that you never heard about. But I'm telling you, man, the Ministry of Truth has spoken, and they're trying to get away with it, but we have got to stop them. So share these videos, man. That's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.